What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so it's time for another tier 2, and we're going to have Phil Coulson here being my next tier 2. And the reason for that is I need some more support characters. I don't really have any support characters, and Phil Coulson here and Warwolf are the two most popular ones, of course, and I don't have either of them. So I'm going to get Phil here first because he seems to be a little bit better than Warwolf. The only difference being that Phil's tier 2 passive only applies to heroes, not villains, and Warwolf's applies to everybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at his actual tier 2, what it says. So for hero allies we get decreased damage received from supervillain type characters, and then we get an increase to damage dealt to supervillain type characters by 45%, which is massive. And then we get an increased guaranteed crit rate by 20%. So basically he just helps crank out that DPS, and also you get a little bit of damage reduction. 15% is actually pretty good. That's not too bad. So this is a really strong tier 2 for support. It's not necessarily going to help Coulson himself as much as a character because he's kind of like a mid-range character, so he's not super useful. But I mean, at tier 2, of course, you can use him to probably solo a floor of Shadowlands. You could probably do most of the regular world bosses, and that's mainly because he has 2 summons, so he has a good amount of survivability with those summons. And at his tier 2, those summons are going to have a little more health just because of the boost to Coulson's stats here from tier 2ing him. So, with that being said, I think it's time to actually tier 2 him. So let's get this done, and come on, connect to the server. I want my tier 2 Coulson. There we go. Alright, so Director's Order, tier 2 unlocked. So let's take a look at Phil real fast here. So, like I said, I'm mainly just tier 2ing Phil as support, so I'm not really going to be using him much for the actual play. Like, I'm not going to be controlling him most of the time. Most of the time when he's in the team, he's just going to be for that passive. So, for his skills, of course, I have his 3rd skill maxed out, which is the one where he summons Belinda May. And then I have the 5th skill maxed out here where he summons Captain America. So those are his 2 summons, and we have 140% of his stats, and then 200% of his stats for Captain here. So that's why Captain's pretty tanky, just because he has quite a bit of HP and good amount of defense. So it's really nice. And also with the, guess it's not so recent now, but when Phil got his rework, he has these guard hits now on this skill, which he did not have before, which is pretty amazing because that helps with his survivability. And also there is a partial iframe now when he casts this skill, so those are also very nice things to just help out Phil. My ISO 8 on him is Hawkeye, so we just have a damage based one here, so nothing too special. Definitely would go with damage based if you're going to use Coulson as like your main character. And then we have energy attack, all defense, HP, and skill cooldown. Alright, what else we got? His obelisk. I just threw on a basic obelisk here, so nothing too special. We just have a little bit of crit rate, some dodge to help out with survivability, and then we have a shield for when he gets hit. It's only 6% HP, so like I said, nothing too special here for the obelisk, but you can kind of synchronize it however you want with Coulson. I mean, he has the crit rate from his passive, so you can go with crit damage here, or you can just go with all dodge, or you can go with an invincibility to help with his survivability. So, pretty much going to be testing out Phil here in 2 ways. So I'm going to first use him as a support only, and then I will try him out kind of on his own as well, so we can kind of get a look at him for both ways to see how good his passive actually is for helping others, and then we could just see how strong he is himself at tier 2. So the order that it's going to go is the first part, or right after this this section right here, we're going to do him as support, and then at the end of the video we're going to do just him on his own. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Alright, so first I thought I'd show you my Doctor Strange's stats since I'm going to be doing World Boss Ultimate with and without Coulson, and Doctor Strange of course is going to be the main character. So I have his gears at 20, we have energy attack, we have all defense, we have HP, and then we have ignore defense. And then for the obelisk here, we just have ignore defense again with a damage proc. I probably should get immune to guard break because I know that would help out quite a bit, but for right now I was not able to roll a immune to guard break with a damage proc and ignore defense, which is kind of what I want, so I just went with ignore defense and a damage proc for now. If I happen to roll a really good obelisk, of course I'll put that on him. His skills, I don't have all of them at 6, just the main ones that I use. Of course, Sorcerer Supreme, Eye of Agamotto, and Demons of Danak. And then for his Ice Weight, I have Hawk's Eye, that's fully awakened, and then I just have his uniform only at Heroic, so not quite maxed out there. So my Doctor Strange is far from being maxed out. He's not that good, to be honest, but I'm still working on him, so he pretty much does whatever I need right now, except for, of course, having a little bit of trouble with World Boss Ultimate at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I did Tier 2 Phil Coulson just now. So, now that you've seen what my Doctor Strange looks like, let's go ahead and show you the clips of him fighting Black Dwarf with and without Phil Coulson. Alright, so here we are at Stage 1 of World Boss Ultimate with Black Dwarf, and we're going to go ahead in with Doctor Strange and without Phil Coulson to see how long it takes Doctor Strange to clear this phase without Phil Coulson. Alright, so now we're going to go in with Coulson. So we're going to have Coulson for his passive to see how much that helps out Doctor Strange's damage here. So we're going to use the same strikers, and we're going to have Ancient One Leadership to stay the same. So let's just see how much faster Doctor Strange can clear this with Coulson's help. Alright, so definitely a lot faster. That was about 45 seconds faster than the previous clear. So I'm very, very happy with that result. So definitely Coulson is a big help for the damage output. So now let's move on to seeing how Coulson does on his own. Alright, so here we are at today's world boss. We have Proxima, and then we're going to go ahead and use this team here. So we have Hela for her leadership, 45% energy, and then we have Loki for the team-up bonuses between Hela and Phil. So we get energy attack and dodge, and then we get all attack and skill cooldown. So now we're going to bring Coulson in here and kind of see how he does on his own. And we're not going to use any strikers here because I kind of want to see how Coulson will do on his own with no extra damage from these strikers coming in. So let's try him out. Yes, let's go. Alright, on to the next phase. So it's going pretty well so far. The summons are taking pretty much all of the aggro. I just gotta watch out for those, those spears that just keep flying around, because they can definitely go right through my summons and hit me as well. Oh, run away. She's raining down death. Ouch. Not good. Come on, just a little more, Phil. Ouch. Yeah, don't get stunned, Phil. That's not a good idea. Alright, last phase. Yeah, don't target me. Ooh, ouch. Oh, she's stunned. Hit her! Oh, don't hit me. Come on. Oh, so close. I'm gonna get stunned to death here at the end, probably. I can sense it. Come on, Phil. Get the last hit. No, Phil! I knew that was gonna happen. Kill her! Thank you, Phil. Alright. So, almost lost it there at the end, but as you can see, Phil definitely relies on his summons taking the aggro away, because I don't think I got hit that many times, and Phil was pretty much almost dead, so does not have much survivability outside of using his summons for distractions. But he was able to do it, no strikers, took him about 3 minutes. So his damage is actually still, I think, pretty low, because 3 minutes to beat Proxima is actually quite a while, especially considering he had a 45% damage leadership and he has his own tier 2 buff with the 45% increase to damage to supervillains. So, I mean, overall, I didn't really tier 2 Phil to use him as the main character. I tier 2'd him for his passive to help out my other characters. So, yeah, so I'm still happy definitely with this tier 2. Coulson's going to help me out in Extreme Alliance Battle. It's going to help me out with World Boss Ultimate. So definitely a welcome addition to my roster. But he's not going to be a highly recommended tier 2, especially for newer players that's just building up their roster. So he's definitely more for, probably I'd say for veteran players, or for players that want to be really competitive in PvP and Alliance, Extreme Alliance Battle modes. So yeah, that's going to be my thoughts on Phil here. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.